Okay, welcome back. Now, buying, selling companies, part 2. Yes, he's using 2 tonight. When you are buying or selling a company, the first thing you must find out, if you're the buyer, is why are these people selling? Right? That's incredibly important. If they are in the market, they will know that their widgets are going to be replaced one day by a virtual widget. The clock's running on the whole damn market, so they are going to try and milk it for what they can get. They want to get rid of it. So always ask, and it could be another thing. It could be, the shop, the council's going to dig the road up outside the shop, or whatever it is. It could be something, anything, main supplier is, or just people are taking longer and longer to pay, and you realize that the market is in difficulties. So again, find out everything you can. The end of the last one I said due diligence. Well, in this one, due diligence again, incredibly important. Don't just, whatever they say, find out, check. Check the company, check the people. Do credit checks on all of them. You can pay a few pounds and do a credit check on these people and discover that they're in difficulties, and that will make so much difference to your negotiating position. When it comes to valuing a company, the simple question you have to answer is, what is it worth to me? Never mind him and her and them and those and what some bogus broker says. What's it worth to me? What am I prepared to pay for that? It's like bidding on eBay. One person knows that that's a valuable vintage microphone or painting or whatever, and he'll say 1,000. Somebody else goes, old microphone, maybe nice to have, 200. Right? What's it worth to me? First things first, as I said the last time, look for value. Value. Start by looking for equity. That's the house, the building, the land, machines, vehicles, intellectual property, such as, and intellectual property can include the know-how of key staff, systems they have in place, customer lists, staff lists, and the obvious patents and patents and all that sort of thing, or just copyrights they have to films or books or music. So then after that, you can look for market share if it's a big company. If it's sort of over 5 to 10% of the entire market in one specific area, you might like to add a little bit of money there for their market share. And then we come to profits. And from the profits, you have to put in as well risk. That is to say, we subtract the risk from the profits. So if we say it's worth 2 times its profits for the profits, well, perhaps there's a big risk involved. All that could disappear. So maybe it's not worth 2, maybe it's only worth 1 year's profits. So then we start subtracting not only the risk, we start subtracting liabilities, pensions, the cost of ownership. If they've got leased properties, the lease is a big liability. So you start subtracting that sucker as well, particularly, for example, if you're buying an office-based thing and you've got plenty of space, you could build an office building, you could put them in existing offices. You don't need their leased offices. So if they've got 3 years to run on some office that's costing 50,000 a year, well, that's 150 that you'll be spending that you shouldn't be spending. So you can take that 150 off the bottom line straight away. Then you've got all the staff issues involved. That has to come off. Cost of pensions we've covered, but redundancies, TUPE laws, right? TUPE laws. Is anybody leaving? Will customers leave? You have to de-risk the deal. And the more you can de-risk it, but I'll come to that in a minute, the more you can de-risk, the larger the amount of money you will get for your business, or the more money you will make when you buy the business. And there are all sorts of ways you can do that through deferments, profit shares, and also there's the nutty issue of tax. Now I'm going to look at a small engineering company. The building was worth about 500,000. The equipment inside and a couple of vehicles and stuff like that, bit of stock stuff, things like that, was worth altogether somewhere around 300,000. The owner reckoned his IP, there were designs, names, patents, the IP was worth about 100,000, and I think that was a fair assessment. And on top of that, the owner took out 100,000 per annum as profit, gross profit. Now we come to de-risking the deal for both sides, and this is where careful mathematics really pays off. If it takes 10% per annum in profit of the future profit, if then the company only grows its profits at 5% per annum, then you're looking at 163,000 that goes to the old owner. And this is what the owner did. He said, look, I think you can achieve 5% per annum. And if you do achieve 5% per annum or more, I will take out 10% of my profit share every year. And that came to 163 over 10 years. If he'd taken the 100,000 for the profit out straight away, one lump sum, he would have got 80,000. But because he did it like that, he got 163. Well, I think it was 163, it was 160 something thousand. Double the amount. So now let's look at the rest. The building can be financed with a mortgage. The equipment can be financed with a sale and leaseback or with some sort of deal like that. And the same, you could even mortgage IP. That's not difficult. The de-risk for the seller was that he got a 10% bottom line guarantee. If the new owner had completely not been able to grow the profits at all, he would have still got his 10,000 every year as his share of the profit in the future. And I'm happy to say that company continues to thrive to this day. Big Co buys Little Co, then Big Co may be up to giving Little Co's owner shares in the company commensurate with the variations in size and a job, so he's still in charge of what he was always in charge of, but he's now got shares in Big Co. In all these things, by the way, always talk and deal all these various aspects with an accountant. Also, remember due diligence. So that was the end of part 2. Next up is your market survey, business structure, and a few subjects like that. I'm now off to ask the wife, do you hear that thrush giving it full welly outside? I'm now off to ask the wife where it is that she put my glasses, that is somewhere where I'm bound to find them. I don't get that. Anyway, look at the things on the green screen and goodbye. love these green screens, aren't they? The technology's getting better by the day. You see, that's what Roger Deakins would call getting an effect in camera. In-depth virtual reality.